Oh no, these little shits again. Jesus. Oh yeah, it's Marty McFly. Is it nice?
I don't want any skates or candy, and a choo-choo train will never do.
Hello everyone, I'm Heather. Okay, we're back for Vlogmas. We're doing it. Okay, I took a bit of a break, bit of a mild hiatus / sabbatical from BookTube after Shorty September, and I feel refreshed, feel good about it. I have a lot of anxiety now about Vlogmas because like the stress is back. Okay, but it's good stress. It's good stress. I missed BookTube. I missed people. Like I was going back through comments and stuff and like catching up on stuff that I forgot to do in September, and I did, like, you know, it's like nice. It's a nice feeling, isn't it? Like people chatting with you and like, you know, sharing the same interests and the same crap you got. You know, it's nice. It's a good community, and I missed it. I did. So I'm happy to be back. But again, same problem I had last year. Like, dear God, Christmas season is so busy. Like, I'm scheduled to go out and get blind drunk every weekend of the season. Okay, sometimes twice in one weekend. Also, you know, I gotta do crap with my kid. She wants to go to Winter Wonderland, go ice skating, do some shiz. And then I gotta also do the Vlogmas. So, stress. But we're ready to go. We're hitting the ground running. Let's do this. Let's go. Okay, I know the Vlogmas videos, we want them to be short, snappy, short, ready? Okay, but I have a lot to go over. I have a lot to cover, namely a channel name change, okay? Also a wrap-up of what I've been doing this like 2 months while I was away. All the books I read so many books, okay? Also, can we talk about what we have in store for Vlogmas, okay? I made a bit of a plan, bit of ideas, put them down, okay? Let's talk about that. Also, calendars, advent calendars, feel like we're gonna go through that. So, you know, let's make this quick. Luckily, today's event, things going on. I have to go to, speaking of getting blind drunk, I have to go to a work Christmas party, the first of 2. So this is just my team, not like the whole of the workplace, just like my team. We're gonna go to a bottomless brunch, and that's happening today. Like, it's basically the butt crack of dawn. I gotta get my kid up in a minute and move on with our lives, get on with this Christmas party and such, but thought we'd just chat quick. And I think today's Vlogmas video can just be our discussion. It doesn't have to be other bits, okay? Then, like, you know, I'll do a bit of filming at the event maybe, and then fill you in on the shenanigans tomorrow. Okay, first thing we need to discuss. I have changed my channel name. Hopefully you have realized that, and that's why you're here. And you're not so confused that you're like, who the fuck this, you know? I apologize for that. Over the 2 months or whatever, like, I've been in a very strange mood. I've been in like one of those moods where your whole family goes out, you know, in the day and then comes back and like you've completely rearranged the room, you know, and they like walk in and they're like, you know, looking at you a bit like, you know, is she finally unhinged for real this time? You know, they're a bit wary. They like moving about the room sort of tentatively, like, I guess I'll sit on the sofa over here then, where it's never been before and doesn't make any sense. Like, but I've been in that whole mood for literally everything. Like, just sort of like burn everything down and rebuild it all new. Okay, not necessarily better, just new, just different, because that's how we roll. So, with my channel name, it was Soggy Expat Booknerd, which was, you know, pretty, you know, explanatory for me at the time when I started the BookTube channel a couple of years ago. But now I start thinking about it, it's like, I don't really feel like an expat anymore. Like, I know I sound like an expat. I sound very American, I think. But live in Wales, have done for 12 years. Like, I feel like, dare I say, a bit more Welsh than American now, just generally. Like, I go home to Seattle for like Christmas and summer and stuff like that, see everyone. I feel a bit weird. I'm like, what do you mean we can't drink alcohol at a child's party? What do you mean we can't get blind drunk at midday? you know? It's not like it's 10 a.m., okay? Like, it's not early. Also, people like talking about work and stuff, like, oh, they're like really driven. Everybody becomes very driven, you know? Like, oh, I've got so many goals. And like, I'm just like, want to vibe, you know? I just want to sort of drink wine and listen to Beyonce at my desk in the daytime. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the life I'm looking at. And I feel like Wales is more that vibe. And I maybe secretly have been more geared toward a Welsh British life than an American life, just from the get-go, and didn't realize. Like, I do remember living my American life before I moved here and being very anxious all the time. Very much like, have to do this, have to do it now, have to have a plan, having lots of diarrhea, lots of anxious diarrhea, like so much diarrhea, and also just like being aggressive all the time with everyone, because everyone was quite aggressive with me, you know, like living in America is like standing in the middle of a very fast moving stream, okay, or like a rushing river. You either have to like go really fast with the river as the river's pushing you that way, or if you decide randomly that you don't want to go that way, suddenly you've got to like, you know, rush against the stream, going the other way, and like fighting everyone like, no, I'm going this way, you know. Whereas I feel Wales is more like a trickle. It's more like a crick, you know. It's just plugging away, bit of ASMR really, just the tunes of nobody doing anything particular except living their lives, you know what I mean? Anyway, that's a really long rambling story, and dear God, this video is going to be long. I can just tell already. But I feel like now the expat sort of moniker doesn't really follow me. And also, book nerd. We talk about books, don't we? And don't worry, we're going to hit the books hard, okay? I haven't jumped off the book wagon. Books are life. But I do also do a bunch of other stuff, don't I? So Shorty September, we did loads of crap, loads of vlogging crap, you know. Sometimes I do craft things on here. Sometimes I just have a ramble, as I'm doing now. So I felt like, does it need to have book in the title? Because yeah, we do books, but that's not all we do. So I've gone with, instead, Too Many Heathers, which matches my Instagram handle, which is Gormodo Heathers, which is Welsh for Too Many Heathers. I originally picked it because I was trying to find a handle name, you know, ages ago, that had Heather in it, and dear God, there are too many Heathers on this planet. There's never a Heather name available because they're all taken. It'd be like blah 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 Heather, taken. Heather blah blah blah, taken. Even things like Heather Lewis, taken. Like, what the, you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. So I got like annoyed, you know, and I was like, fine, Too Many Heathers, and it wasn't taken because it was in Welsh, and that was fine. Then over time, I feel like that name has come to really stick with me, in that, my God, there are so many personal Heathers as well. There's drunk Heather and sober Heather, two different people. They don't know the same people. They don't have the same principles. Also, anxious Heather, she's a whirlwind, okay? There's American Heather, who has like really high standards for how people make her burrito, and maybe she's not afraid to ask politely for them to meet those standards. Well, whatever, I'm not ashamed. Is that what I said? Okay. There's also, you know, Welsh Heather, who's gonna go to the office now and immediately start drinking, like, when I get there at like 9 a.m. Just kidding. I'm kidding. Like, that's not real. We're definitely gonna wait till at least 11 o'clock when we get to the brunch place. Like 9 a.m. That's too early. Don't do that. It's dangerous to drink that early. Anyway, Too Many Heathers. It's a new channel name. I hope you don't think it's stupid. Please don't tell me if you think it's stupid. If you think it's not stupid, you can tell me that though, because I need a bit of reassurance that it's not stupid. Okay, next thing on the list. Can we talk about advent calendars? I do this every year. I do advent calendars. Okay, so I think we're gonna do the advent calendars now. Like, I'm gonna get Alan up and we're gonna go and do them. And then I think for the beginning of this video, I'm gonna have it as like the intro, us opening them. So I'm gonna show you them now and they're not open. But I think if the video, when you watch it, it looks like it's going back in time because you see them, they're not open, and you're like, but we just opened it. That's why. We're gonna open it in a minute, and I think I'm gonna use it as the opener. Okay, whatever. Anyway. So I get an advent calendar for everyone in the family every year, right? So I get one for Alan, my kid. I get one for the dogs, okay? This year, sadly, only one dog. But that means she can get a better calendar. You know, I used that money just for her instead of dividing it by two. And also my husband, I get him one, but he's so hard to get one for. Like, he's not in the spirit. He's not in the advent calendar spirit, which is stupid, okay? And every year I'm like, you're getting in this bandwagon, and get in it, okay? So I've tried. I got him a tea one year because he quite likes tea, but he's quite like a builder, you know. He's like, I only have this kind of tea all the time. Like, he gets like the one kind of black tea. It doesn't even have a name. Do you know what I mean? So getting him like the foofy ones, like, oh, it's a peppermint one this time. Like, he doesn't drink them, it's whatever. I got him chocolate ones a couple times, like various different like chocolate ones. But the problem with that one is he gets downstairs, everyone goes, just gonna eat that, are you? Looks nice. Gonna eat that? And then he goes, you can have it, and he gives it to Emma. So I'm gonna end up having her calendar and also Daddy's calendar. Tried a couple different things, couldn't get him on board, but think I've got it now, right? So our whole life these days, me and James sitting on a sofa next to each other, sending each other memes and videos and reels and TikToks and shit, right? So I've made him an Instagram Reels advent calendar, okay? And I made it, I'm not gonna say in work's time, because that would be wrong. Did it on my own time at home. Okay, this is it, okay? Made it from scratch. So every day you pull the door, right? And it gives you like a sort of thumbnail of what's to come, of the video to come, okay? And then it gives you like a QR code you scan with your phone, and it sends you to an Instagram reel, okay? The first day on this one is about like that dog bus, I think it's in Alaska or something, where the bus sort of goes round and the dogs are just like waiting for the bus at their house just outside, and like the dogs just like climb onto the bus and they like greet all the other dogs on the bus and then sit down and then get strapped in, and then they move on to the next place and the dog just gets on. It's like, oh hi Rover, and Rover's like hello 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 hello, and he just like picks his spot and he gets clipped in. Anyway, that's the first one, but they're not all like that. There's some of them are cute, some of them are funny, some of them are interesting. Things about language. He's quite into like linguistics and history and stuff like that. So every time I sort of saw something that I thought he'd find interesting, like apparently the South, like the Southern American accent is dying. They think like, I guess to do with no one really stays in the same place anymore, like that sort of thing. With so much sort of moving around of people coming into that area from other places, and also people from those places moving out to other places, is sort of like diluting the accent. It's not really going to be around anymore after a bit of time. I thought that was super interesting, like sad, but interesting. So there's a thing about that. Just stuff that I would have normally sent him sitting next to him on the sofa. I saved them up and I put them in a calendar. Anyway, so that's his one, right? Maisie Daisy, the greyhound, she gets cheese fondue snaps. Like, she's very fussy. So this could go one of either way. This could go anyway. It could be amazing, or it could be like just her looking at him going, what? And it's a complete waste of money. And also, she's just the new James who can't get in the spirit. Like, we'll see. Hey, Anwan's one is huge. It's ridiculous. It was weirdly one of the cheapest, so I'm a bit worried about that. But it's apparently a fidget advent calendar. Every day is some sort of fidgety thing. You know, like these things kids are super into now, where it's like the bubbles, where you like push the, well, at the intro, I'll show you one anyway. But loads of them, just every day, something like that. Or something that spins, you know, these fidget spinner things, like kids these days are super into it. Okay, and then my calendar, which is Back to the Future Playmobil, which is basically Lego, but like with less emphasis on the building and more emphasis on, you know, having things already built, like in the shape that they're supposed to be in, and you can play with them instead of building them. So there's that. There's like loads of characters, loads of stuff going on. Like, I thought about getting myself like a proper adult advent calendar. Like, I had earrings for the longest time. Like, I'd have like an earring calendar, or like, you know, like wine or something, you know, grown up. But then it just wasn't vibing. Like, I was not feeling that shit. First of all, my ears are so angry now. I think it's because I'm getting older. Every year I get older, a new sort of allergy or like intolerance pops up. So my ears have always been a bit like hesitant to accept cheap metal, you know, like nickel and stuff like that. But nowadays it's just like, bitch, no. I'll have hoops in there for literally 20 minutes and it's like, girl, rash. My whole ear is just like bright red, freaking the F out. So couldn't really do the earrings thing because I can't afford, you know, 24 proper metal earrings. Do you know what I mean? And then the wine thing, like, also super expensive. And like, do I even drink the reds? Like, I pretend like I'm a person who drinks reds, but I don't. I'm like pure Moscato. That girl needs a sweet pink wine, friends. I will not lie to you any longer. But none of those were vibing. Okay, so I was like, send it all the way back. Okay, send it all the way back to childhood when Christmas was the shit. That's how we're doing it. Okay, I thought we'd discuss roughly what's in store for Vlogmas this year. Okay, things I have on my plan. So Anwen and I have been getting really into get ready with me, GRWM videos, okay, on the TikToks and the reels. I don't know what it is about them. Like, I find them soothing. Like, it's a bit, I don't know, ASMR or something. I don't know. Okay, but these videos, they speak to me, and she loves them as well. So she's like, oh, like, I'm gonna do some. She's like, Anwen, if you don't know, if you're new here, let me introduce Anwen. She's 8. She's gonna do some get ready with me videos where she does her makeup and such. And because she's 8, she does it badly. So that's gonna be hilarious, and I'm for it. Also, we can chat about faves, fave books. We always do a fave books of the year. I think as well I'm gonna do a fave graphic novels segment as well this year, because again, I read loads of them. I love them now. I didn't used to read any of them like roughly 2 or 3 years ago, and now I'm just into them. Also the Spud, Anwen, she can do her fave books of the year. I think, what else do we got? What does it got? Year in review. Okay, there's loads of year in review things on there, like the Spotify Wrapped, which they ruined it for me because they came out with it yesterday. Okay, so I can't discuss it really on Vlogmas. Maybe I will do anyway because it was hilarious. Like, shameful, obviously. I'm embarrassed, but like in a funny way, so we might talk about that. Also, you know, outings. We're gonna do loads of outings. We always do at Christmas. Like, we're gonna go to Winter Wonderland, we're gonna go ice skating, we're gonna go to like this Christmas theater thing, we're gonna go get a tree, you know, loads of crap. We can do story theater, water cooler story theater, where, you know, because I don't have anything going on or can't think of anything else to put in my content for Vlogmas, I tell you a funny thing that happened. Crappy amateur crafting. Okay, we have to make Christmas cards, send those out at some point, you know. That's the best part of having a child, because she can do the vast majority of the work, and it can be a little bit crappy and still be just delightful. Okay, so delightful. I have a couple ideas for that. Maybe not so much to do with paint, maybe to do with lino stamping. Shall we get into a brand new hobby? Shall we? 'Tis the time of year to begin on a brand new journey of hobbying that I will eventually get rid of in my life. Okay. Anyway, let's move on. Next thing on the list to discuss is a wrap-up of October and November. Like, I read an absolute shit ton. I read so much. I'm gonna look now, hold on. I read 39 books, y'all, which is crazy. Like, they were quite graphic novel heavy because I was a bit burnt out after Short September, so I guess it doesn't really count, okay? But still, it's loads. And 14 of those, flat 14 of them, were all Rivers of London related, okay? Because I have fallen down into a dark place where everything is Rivers of London all the time. If you don't know, quick primer, roughly it's this guy, he's a police officer in London, and he's also an apprentice wizard. Like, when he first joined the police or whatever, he didn't know that magic was real, but then he came across this case, this like police case or whatever, and ended up meeting this like head wizard guy who's like head of the magical crap division and the Metropolitan Police in London. And then he like just joined on to his thing, and he was like recruited, and now he's like learning magic and stuff like that, and he deals with loads of magical crap, like magical crimes. He's hilarious as a character. He's clever, he's beautiful, like a girl would. I won't lie to you. Like, if you have a thing for fictional characters, like but the stories themselves, like the plots of them and like the world building and everything is brilliant. It's so good. Ben Aronovich, he's the author of them. And he's amazing. Like, I love him as an author. I love the books that he writes. But also, he sort of pairs with like illustrators and with like other, you know, creative people to not just have novels, but to have like graphic novels, to have like audiobook type like production performance things, also sort of like side novellas and stuff that all build into the series, you know? So if you just read the novels, like, novels are quite thick, I guess, they're like sort of like 500-ish pages, all of them. If you just read the novels in a row in the series, you're going to be lost. You've missed some stuff, because between, you know, number 3 novel and number 4 novel, there were 2 graphic novels and like in like a performance, like a speech performance, and all 3 of those things are important to then what happens in the next novel, like that. Do you know what I mean? So there were loads of graphic novels, sort of like this one, which are sort of like comic book style, you know, they're less graphic novel-y, more sort of like comic book type things, but they're cool. I think now, like I was like going through this list, like I've got like a master list, I'll show you, like I was like going through it methodically. I think I only have like 4 left or something, like I'm on one, and then after the one that I'm done, I'm reading now on my phone, after I'm done with that one, just I think there's only like 3 or 4 left, which is ridiculous. Also nonfiction November, which I annihilated. I very, very roughly interpreted the prompts. Like, you know, like Olive, she like gives you like prompts and she like words, and then you sort of like use that word to sort of pick a book. But like I basically had the books I wanted to read already, so you know, I just like, oh, that fits that in this roundabout way. But anyway, like nonfic, I like a bit of nonfic, okay, like fiction, you know, more, but nonfic I enjoy, and particularly where my heart is in the nonfic region is celebrity memoirs. Okay, I won't, you know, I'm not ashamed. Like obviously they have to be like A-list celebrities, okay, because I'm a classy girl. I don't read these like, you know, trashy B-list celebrities. They have to be only the highest quality trashy memoir. But obviously I started with Britney Spears because why not? Okay, if anyone's read Britney Spears' book, I feel like the whole world has, okay, but if you haven't, let me like cue you in on like this part where she's talking about how she was gonna have a baby with Justin Timberlake. Okay, like a bit of, you know, trigger warning for like abortion. I don't know if I should talk. I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna do it. Like if you feel like triggered by that, I'll like put a little thing down the bottom and I'll tell you when it's over, so we don't have to talk about it. But she was gonna have a baby with Justin Timberlake, and he was like, I don't want to be a dad, right? So he was like, you need to get rid of the baby, and she's like really sad when she's talking about it. It's like really gutting, you know, and you're like in this zone and you're like, oh my god, this is hideous. She's describing it and you just feel her sadness and like her regret, you know, and you just think, oh my god, if this was me, this would be just like the worst moment of my whole life, you know. And she's on the bathroom floor and she's taking this pill, and they've decided they're not going to tell anyone, they're not going to tell a doctor, they're not going to tell anyone because they don't want anyone to know. So she's on the bathroom floor feeling like she's going to die. Like the pain is so hideous. She just thinks, that's it, they've killed me, I'm dead, you know, this is how I end. But then in the depths of this in comes Justin Timberlake for a bit of accidental comedy relief. He's like, okay, my girlfriend thinks she's dying because we've made her do this hideous thing. What should I do? Should I A, take her to the doctor, B, try to find her some form of pain relief, or C, play a set? Oh my god, it's not funny. It's not funny, it's hideous. It's fucking hideous. But also, why? And I was like listening to this podcast or like this sort of thing about this girl who's talking about it, and she's like, I need to know the set list. I need to know the songs that were played. Like, were they his own songs? Like, was he like, cry me a river? Also, how she came for her little sister in that. Like, she's on this TV show now, like, what's it? I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, something like, where they go to the jungle and they do things like they used to do on like Survivor or whatever, where they have to like eat gross stuff and then they get voted off the island or whatever. She's on that now, and in the intro you're supposed to say how you're famous, you know, and she said, instead of saying I'm Britney Spears' little sister, who she annihilated in her book, she was instead like, I'm famous for being an actor and a singer. And people were like, no. Just say it, just call it as it is, okay? But now we hate her. Like, I don't know if you like didn't know, okay, that she has wronged us. We don't like her now. So if you thought maybe we were cool with her, just to let you know, the wind has changed. Okay, also did Selma Blair's Mean Baby, which was really interesting. Like, I don't really watch a lot of Selma Blair stuff, but her sort of struggles with MS were super interesting. Also Lauren Graham, who is in Gilmore Girls, hers was really good as well. I didn't know that she's like a proper author in her own right. Like, she's written quite a few books, you know, and not just all sort of memoirs or like about Gilmore Girls or anything. Like, they're proper books. I quite liked, like, she didn't use a ghostwriter or anything. Like, she's an actual writer, which I really appreciated and enjoyed. I liked her sort of style. I might read her other books. Do you know what I mean? And also, really weird timing, my hold at the library for Matthew Perry's memoir came up the exact day I learned that he died. Like, he's died just recently. I think he drowned in a pool or something. And I don't know what's up with that, like if it was sort of like addiction related or whatever. Like, he was an addict, he says in the book. I don't know if it was related to that or if it was, I don't know, purposeful or an accident. Like, I don't know. But in his book, it's so like heartbreaking, like his battle with his addictions. Like, he just, like, you know, wants to live and love and explore and have adventure and, you know, live his life, but he's set back at every moment just by this like bear on his back that he can't shake no matter what he does. Like, he sort of like temporarily shakes it all the time. It's over and over and over throughout his life. He temporarily like shakes this beast that's after him, but then it only takes like a small trigger to just set him all the way back. And he's like, he lost so much, you know, he was in danger of dying several times before he actually died, you know. And like how he talks about his friends, co-stars and stuff, and like when he was talking about doing it, like filming the shows, and how his weight would go up and down depending on what battle he was fighting at the minute. Like, if he was fighting against pills, he was super skinny. If he was fighting against drink, you know, he would like chub up a bit. And I was sort of like going back into the shows then, sort of on Netflix or whatever, and like watching them, and you can tell there's like one sort of like season ends and a new season starts, and it's supposed to be the same day, but in the one, like the season ender, he's like emaciated skinny. He's so skinny. And then in the season opener of the next season, which is supposed to be the same day, he's like plumped up to a proper weight again, you know. And I can't believe I didn't notice this when I was sort of watching it, you know. Anyway, super interesting. Okay, other series, like book series in these past 2 months, other book series I have doggedly annihilated, okay? Because that was like my vibe. Then my vibe for these last 2 months was like to take series that I'm into and just like follow them all the way down into the depths. One of them being Lockwood & Co. Do you know this one? No obsession! So I originally just saw it on TV, like it's like a show on Netflix or something like that, Lockwood & Co. And I really liked it, and I found out that there were books, okay? So I was like, oh, I'll just read the first book, because sometimes it's good. And after reading the first book, like, it's completely different from the show. Like, a lot of the elements are the same, sort of like plot bits are the same. But for the show, they've clearly taken a whole bunch of the books and mashed them all together, and then changed some stuff to make it all fit together. So the books are wildly different from the show. They're a whole new experience. I think there's 5 of them. I read the first 4, and the 5th one I think I've got on hold at the library now. But it's so good. It's basically, okay, there's it's sort of like the near future, or like a sort of like parallel universe where it's like now, but everything's different. And they live in London, or like other parts of England, and there's this massive ghost problem, this like supernatural problem that's been going for the past 50 years, and they don't know why it started or how it's going to end or what's going to happen. But basically there's like a rip in sort of like, you know, the wall between our world and like the world of the dead, right? So people die and then sort of immediately come back as visitors, and they're malignant ghosts, and they're like type 1 malignant ghost, which is just one that, you know, floats around, or type 2 malignant ghost is one that can interact with you, you know, things like that. and only children can see them. So the adults, like they get, you know, to about 18 or whatever, and they stop being able to sense that the ghosts are there, but the ghosts are still dangerous. They can still like ghost touch them and kill them or whatever. So the adults have had to recruit children to work for agencies to fight these ghosts. So you've got like 11-year-olds basically working for these adults to clear like houses of these ghosts using things like, you know, like salt bombs and like iron chains and like rapiers and crap like this. And you've got the main characters, like one is Lucy. She had like this incident where loads of people died, and she like lost trust in people she was working with, and like her whole family and everything was awful. So she just like up and left like the north of England where she was, moved to London. But she didn't have full qualifications, so she couldn't just work for these like major agencies, you know. There's like two like major agencies, so she had to work for like a smaller agency run by this kid, basically this like 16-year-old kid, who is Lockwood. And you find out more about his life as time goes on, but basically his parents and his sister all died from this like ghost problem, and he's like an agent himself now, like trying to build up his like own agency. Anyway, they like sort of go after these ghosts and they try to like defeat them and clear houses and stuff, but also solve like magical crime type things. Is so good. Like, if you don't know it, like, I highly recommend, okay, either the show or the books. Two different experiences, both delightful. Also, I annihilated loads of cute and funny graphic novels, one being Fangs, okay, which is like loads of just like tongue-in-cheek jokes about a vampire and a werewolf dating. Okay, and then also Lightfall, which has a sequel, which I have just ordered because I need it right away. It's The Girl and the Galdurian. Can I just show you the art in this? Are you ready? How gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. Like, just the art itself is unbelievable. But the story and the plot and everything, also good. Okay, this girl, her grandfather is disappeared. He's gone missing. So she goes with this Galdurian, who everyone thought was extinct, the Galdurians, but he's not. He's the last one, and he's looking for his people because he thinks that they're still around. And it's very cute. They just have a journey together, which is just delightful and beautiful. I don't know how long this video is exactly. I feel like it's going to be very long. I apologize for that. I feel like today's one, longest one, okay? All the next ones, Vlogmas, short, okay? I feel like we just had a lot to discuss, okay? Because I've been off for a while. I feel like I needed to catch you all up, okay? So this one's taken quite a while, but I promise shorter ones in future. Okay, I have to go now, get my kid up, do our calendars, get her to school, go to work, go get drunk at this Christmas party, and I will let you know tomorrow how it goes. Maybe it will be incredibly sophisticated, where we all go, we have a lovely meal, a single glass of wine, and then we all go home early. Maybe. You don't know. I don't know. They don't know. Nobody knows. It's a mystery. We'll see what happens. And happy Vlogmas, everyone. I'm so happy I'm back. I missed you so much. And I'll see you tomorrow. Okay.